We all know there are a million different ways to make a living, but on this show, we are curious about those businesses that you might not know about. We're going to take a deep dive every week and talk to a successful person in their field to learn about how they got their start and how they continue to make it in their space. Join me and learn more about the business of. Hi, I'm Hillary, and I'm here with Max Escobar, and we are going to talk a little bit more about the business of music. So Max, you used to be a minor league baseball player, and now you're in the music industry. How did you make that transition, and why?
I think music and sports correlate, right?
Yeah.
When you're in the locker room, you're listening to music, that's how you unwind. There's a lot of pressure in sports, so music is kind of your piece, right? So when I was playing minor league baseball, I used to go a lot to the clubs. I'm sorry, Cincinnati Reds, right? But and when I was in the clubs, I used to meet all the artists, right? So they wanted to chill with the baseball players, right? And the baseball players wanted to chill with the artists. So when I was doing all that stuff, I was going to the clubs, playing baseball. When I tore my ACL, I was in rehab. So while I was in rehab, I did a little bit more clubbing than I did playing baseball, right? So I made a lot of relationships. When I was young, when I was like 15, 14 years old, I was a flyer boy for a nightclub. So I already had kind of like the itch to be part of the entertainment industry. So, you know, after I left baseball, I became a club promoter. So when I became a club promoter, I was throwing concerts, I was throwing events in nightclubs. And, you know, that got me even more into sports. And then eventually I got into convict music with Vlad Fernandez. Shout out to Vlad, love you. But he got me into the label side of things. So I worked there where we worked with artists like Omega Fuerte, which is a merengue artist. You had Lady Gaga, you had T-Pain and all these people. So after that, I eventually got into Audio Mac, which is a DSP, like a music streaming service. And from there, I'm in the music industry.
Nice. What is one thing that is most surprising about the music industry that people might not know about?
The climate changes a lot, right? Like it's sort of like living in Florida, right? And one side of the street is raining, and the other side is the sun is shining. But I think what the music industry is a reflection of life, right? One day is really good, one day it could be really bad, and it's like how you are able to adjust to circumstances and solve problems. I think school really helped me with that, solving problems and different things like that. But you gotta be just on your feet all the time and figuring things out because you're dealing with a lot of personalities.
Yeah.
So one person might be a douche, and you got to figure out how to make him do what you want him to do. Then there's other people who complain a lot. So then you got to kind of like, you know, caress the situation. And you got other people that are just self-motivated. So like as a leader, you have to know everybody's personality and just be able to just compliment them on it.
So what is unique about Audio Mac and the sort of direction that you've taken your career?
Audio Mac, I think it has a unique perspective, right? The amount of percentage of successful artists is probably like 1%, right? So you got 99% of artists that are just trying to get to that 1%.
Yeah.
Right? I think the goal for every artist shouldn't be to be a superstar. It's to live off your craft. Right? So let's say, for example, off of your music, you make $150,000 a year. That's great.
Nice.
You know, you're doing concerts, you're releasing music. And if you're able to live off of your music, I think that's successful. You know, you shouldn't think that if you don't have a Maybach or 50 chains and like 30 entourage, you know, that doesn't mean you're not successful. I think we need to be more realistic With music, I think people really believe the lifestyle. And, sometimes it is real, but most of the time it's not. So I think you need to just realize, if I can live off of music, then and pass it to, my kids or your grandchildren, then you did an amazing job on this earth.
Yeah, that makes sense. We all want to just have a great lifestyle that you can enjoy and pass on.
Yeah, you buy a nice little estate for your family, right? With your initials on the gate, right?
On the gate.
And you're great. You did a great job.
You've been in the industry for quite some time. How did you learn the industry? How did you do internships?
I'm not that old. I'm only 35 years old.
Okay, you're not that old. Nobody's that old in this room.
But how did I learn? I think circumstances, situations that I had to deal with. When you're first getting into the industry, you have nothing to provide anybody.
Yeah.
You're just doing a lot of free stuff. Get as much information, as much connections, networking as possible. And you got to maintain it, right? So for example, if you're a person that you have a lot of control of the media, and I need you for my artist that wants that type of media, I have to be able to befriend you. And this is not saying it like in a malicious way.
No.
Right? But I have to be able to befriend you and take you out. Let's have some drinks. Let's talk, build a connection where you feel my success is your success.
Right.
Right? So you have to build up your circle. And what I do in my company is I don't have people that work for me. I have partners. So everybody is a boss. Everybody's a leader, but we all have positions and responsibilities that we have to do, and if one falls off, we all fall, you know what I'm saying? So they get to see that with them not providing the work that they need to is affecting the company. And that's small businesses. That's the biggest thing. We don't have the 10, $15 million where we could just replace people like their parts.
Yeah.
Every single person is an essential part of our company.
So you spoke about leadership and you spoke about making sure that everybody feels like they are involved. Are there any other, is there any more advice about leadership that you would impart?
I think in the beginning when I first, I got this from sports, for you to make a person do something you want them to do, you don't have to say, yo, move that chair, right?
Right.
Move that chair right now. No, I think if I was to tell Frank, who's behind the camera, and I'd be like, yo, I think that chair is kind of messing up the aesthetics of the room. He's going to be like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. And he'll move it. So he's doing something that I want him to do, but I'm not saying it in a way where it's demanding.
Right.
I feel like that way of leading is only for certain situations. There's certain situations when you have to be assertive and you have to show that you know what is the right thing to do. And I think most people want to be led. They don't want to make that decision that is hard.
Right.
Because if it goes wrong, it's your fault.
Yeah.
So I think when becoming a leader, you have to be able to, one, take responsibilities on decisions that you make that are wrong. And two, you have to be able to listen. A leader needs to listen to everybody around him and then make the best decision after that.
It's very good advice. Not everybody leads that way, but you have a more cohesive team, it feels like, when you're listening and you're also providing structure for people.
Yeah, and there's also how you hire. Right? So if you know the type of way you lead, you need to hire around that way.
Yep.
Right? If you're an assertive person, then you need to hire people who are more like followers, more like they want to be led.
Right.
But I feel like with my company, I want everybody to be millionaires. I want everybody to be bosses and their own leaders, right? Because it's all about it's the circle of success, right? If everybody in my circle is successful in their own right, then whenever anything happens to me or anything happens to anybody else, we could all come together and help that person.
Yeah. And you spoke earlier about how having connections is really how you build and create new opportunities for your clients. Mm-hmm. Do you think that that is specific to the music industry, or do you think that's entertainment overall, or just networking in general is how people can be successful?
Yeah, I think that's life.
Yeah.
Right? If you own a condo, I think you should be cool with a plumber or electrician. You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't and you're calling a phone of a person you don't know, you're probably going to get the really bad price. Yep. Right? But if you have a plumber that's a friend of yours, you have an electrician, I'm a marketing person, right? Marketing person. I do marketing. So let's say, for example, I do a job for the electrician, marketing and Facebook. Yeah. He gets 10 new clients. And I call him like, yo, listen, something's going on with my electricity. He's probably not going to charge me because I brought him 10 businesses. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like in life in general, when I was a kid, I had a very far notion of that. Like I said, you know what? Like when I grow up, I want to be an owner of a barber shop, of a supermarket, of all the essentials of life. So I don't have to pay for anything. Right? So I can just walk into my supermarket and be like, just take all my groceries, and I give them the peace sign, and I'm out. But I don't think that's realistic. But I think as an individual, you need to just be around people of different walks of life, right? For example, like me and John are friends. I would never know John in a regular life. I wouldn't, because I live in the Bronx. I live in the Bronx, New York. Well, now I live in Miami. So you have to surround yourself around successful people so you can understand success. It's just like being a championship player. Like you can't be a champion if you're not around champions and understand what it is to be a champion.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think, and there's so much about the human condition that is about connection and making, you feel better when you're helping somebody who has either helped you or, there is some connection there. So that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, and it's different opinions, right? Yeah. If you're surrounding yourself around people who are in the same circumstances as you, they're going to give you the same opinion that you would have because they're in your same circumstance. But you need to step out of that and see perspectives from different people so you could make the best decision.
Yeah. Nothing else to add there. For, where your business is now, would you consider that it's just starting out? Are you kind of on the precipice, or are you just kind of coasting?
If you know my partner, Jason, right? He's never coasting. Right. There is no coasting in Jason's demeanor. Our business grew very fast in a small period of time. So we started our business in November of 2020, right? Yeah, 2020. And we started the label, right? When we started the label, we had two artists. We had Jowdy and we had Charlie Cruz, right? I signed Dova Montana to the label. He exploded. Right? Then the other artists, like Jolly's big in Chile, and then Charlie's big in Puerto Rico. Charlie got nominated for a Latin Grammy that same year. So within a year span, and then we opened up our office, which was in another location, not this one. And we went from that little office that Frank used to make fun of all the time, to a whole space now. Yeah. Right? And then we opened up Bocina Latina, which happened during the pandemic where we were bored. We didn't know if we was going to die or not, right? It seemed like a zombie apocalypse, right? Yeah. And we just started blogging. Like we started seeing that more people was on the internet, more people couldn't go outside. So we started Bocina Latina, the Instagram page. It was only supposed to be an Instagram page. Then it ended up turning into a TV channel, and then to a YouTube channel. And then now we have a whole network. So we definitely not coasting.
Yeah.
It's going pretty fast. I think as an entrepreneur, you can't have fear to adjust, right? Frank went from just working at Bocina to now working in Audio Mac to then working into Get Crazy. So it's like we're creating our own ecosystem, right? And it's like you have to be able to make multiple businesses, because within the entertainment field, I think we have a business in every aspect of the business. So Get Crazy Note is like the umbrella. It's our baby, right?
Okay.
Me and Jay's baby. And then Bocina Latina, Yo DJs, to Promo 809, to I think I'm missing a couple of businesses. I think Jay's gonna kill me, but we have a lot of businesses. I think we got like 5.
And they're all doing different things, so that's why you have so many different facets.
Yeah, because like let's say for example you have an artist.
Yeah.
We have the label already for him.
Yeah.
Where he's able to distribute, we're able to manage him. But then when he got to do shows, he needs a touring company. So we have a touring company for that. You know what I'm saying? To market the artist on TV, we have the TV company for that.
Right.
Right? We have the DJs, which the DJs are the most essential part of the artist. They play them in all the nightclubs and all that stuff. So we have a DJ company where we provide a platform for the DJs to play the music, to get on TV, to create influencers. Because right now, in music, if you have the power to create influencers, then you're a kingmaker. Like all the influencers are gonna be pushing your product, and then more people are gonna see it. So I think it's more of like a 360 type of business. Anything that your business needs, you create a business for it, and then you're able to create profit from that business.
So when you had that idea as a kid of having the barbershop and having the grocery store, like basically you've done that for the music industry because you're covering all your essentials with different facets.
Exactly. I think it's when you're trying to figure out the right partner, right? Because every single business we were trying to have a partner for it.
Yeah.
Right. And you found out that the way they think is not the way you think. Then you're like, you know what? I'm gonna do it myself. And I think that's what me and Jason have been kind of unique, because in our field, you don't see that. You don't see somebody that's trying to create the answers for the problem. And it was just like, I remember like seeing Steve Jobs when they were asking him about like him creating Apple and all this stuff. He was like, I was just trying to solve a problem. Right?
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to do in the entertainment field. We're trying to solve problems. And I think that we're coming from a genuine place. And pretty soon you're going to be able to see it.
That's cool. Very cool. So what is your definition of success? Other than owning a grocery store and a barbershop, which may be farther down the line. Who knows?
I think when I'm like 60, I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to do that. But my definition of success is just not wanting anything anymore, right? I always used to tell people, like, everybody has a number. This is the number I want, and I'm going to disappear from the planet, right? I think when it comes for me, I'm more of the creative marketing side of the company. I just want to be able to create and not think about logistics.
Okay.
Right? So if I want to make a huge pyramid in the middle of the Bronx, and it costs $100 million to do, if I could do it and I don't have to worry about any repercussions financially for my family or anybody around me, then that's success. I feel that empowering your people around you is success. If I'm able to make sure that nobody around me has a regular job and they live off of what their passion is, I'm successful. I think being able to just live off of what you do. Like, I live off of music. There's a lot of people that do music and then they work at Foot Locker or work, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I feel that once you get to the point where you're living off of music, you're successful. You know what I'm saying? Got a little bit of jewelry, so I'm successful. You know?
So you feel like by your definition, you are successful?
I think I am, because I've done a lot in a small period of time. I've helped a lot of people. You know, a lot of people have made me better. You know, like Frank has helped me a lot in my career. You know, I think it's not about being rich or being a millionaire or a billionaire. I do want that. Don't get it twisted. But I think when I'm able to look at the people around me and I see that they're happy, that makes me happy, and that I feel successful.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for your time today. It was really great to get to know you and learn more about the ecosystem that you have created.
Thank you.